Few more seconds. So please, Om. 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 We'll start with guided meditation. Then we'll do the Shanti Mantra. Guided meditation by Gurudev. It's going to take about 6 to 7 minutes. And Gurudev himself will direct us from the asana onwards. He will be directing us. So let's. In case you are not able to hear the voice, please let me know. Otherwise, we should be fine.
Sit comfortably in your chair. Bottom firm. Come away from your leaning on the back. Hold the body erect. Your palms resting on your knee. Neck, head and the trunk in one straight line. Hold the body with no movement, even one fraction of a millimeter. And be conscious that you are not moving. Be extremely conscious. If it is moving, hold it, hold it. No movement, no movement. Be conscious. Look at the climate of your mind. Is it not extremely peaceful? As never ever before? The moment you become conscious of the mind starts chattering, babbling. Shift your consciousness to the body. Hold the body without any movement. Watch the climate of gathering peace in the mind. Three, 4 days you practice it, once or twice a day, you will become convinced that even your wild mind can be quiet. By holding the body without any movement. Mentally repeat along with me. When the chanting is over, be aware. Just be. Don't initiate any new thought. Thoughts will rise. Drop them. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya.
Gently open your eyes. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Loka-shankaram. समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Welcome. So we'll just chant one sloka from Gita Dhyanam. I will chant this. All of you can chant in mute mode. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkrupatamaham vande paramanandamadhavam paramanandamadhavam. So we'll do a quick recap of last session, what we saw, the 16, 17, and 18, important set of messages. And of course, all the slokas are important in this chapter. In 16, 17, 18, first Bhagwan tells who he is really is. He is that Uttama Purusha. Then we will go to 19 and 20, where he highlights the phalam, the fruit of knowing this knowledge, and concludes saying that this chapter it by itself is a shastra. We'll see the explanation of those. Then we'll do a quick summary. Come back again from verse 1 to 20. Overview. We have already seen this, but we'll see a quick summary. Then we'll do the chanting as per the list of what we shared. And all of you can, without any prompt, one by one, actually, you can chant, so that this you can have the list readily, so that you'll be able to do that. And we'll also look at one topic which may be worth actually doing some reflection during the summer break. It's a very nice exercise. I will talk about that, and then it won't take much time, but it's worth contemplating during whenever it's possible during the summer break. Then we'll go for open mic, where we will get your feedback, and I will also tell from my side, actually, my experience of these Saturday sessions. And please welcome your feedback. And also, we'll discuss about what next when we come back from summer. What are the options? And then before we do that in the open mic, two things. One is actually all of us will come on video. We'll switch on the video. Some of you are not actually off video, but let us all at that time switch on the video, and then our Prabhu will take screenshot of all of us. So that'll be nice actually to, and he will share it with us also. So that will be a great remembrance also of this chapter. Then also, I will come to that when I come to open mic. I will talk about that. So that's going to be the structure. Are you all able to hear me properly and see me? And Gurudev was audible?
Yes, Uncle Ji.
Yes, Shivaji.
Very good. Thank you. So quick recap, 16, 17, 18. The 16th sloka, 16, 17, 18 sloka, Bhagavan actually declares that he is Uttama Purusha, that he is that all-pervading consciousness, all-pervading Brahman. That aspect actually he reveals. So let us first chant 16, 17, 18. Sandeep will chant that, and then we'll quickly go through the meaning, what we already seen, just for continuity. Then we'll enter into the next topic, which is glory of this Purushottama. The knowledge, knowing about Purushottama, what is the proof? That is 19th and 20th. So that will be the flow. So 16, 17, 18 together we can chant. And over to you, Sandeep.
Hari Om. Dvavimau Purushau Loke Kshara eva cha Kshara Sarvani Bhutani Bhutastho Akshar Uchyate Uttama Purushastamanyah Parmatmeya Udahritaha Yo Lokatrayamavaishya बिभर्त्यव्ययः ईश्वरः यस्मात्क्षरमतीतो अहमक्षराप्तपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रथितः पुरुषोत्तमः.
All right, good. Let's take one by one. So, as actually we mentioned, in the 16th sloka, it talks about Kshara and Akshara. What they are, we'll just quickly recap. Then in the 17th sloka, he says that he is beyond this Kshara and Akshara. He transcends them. And he declares that he is that all-pervading Brahman. And of course, in 18th, um, how the all-pervading nature is highlighting, and he calls it as Purushottama. So, Kshara, Akshara, Uttama Purusha. Kshara is the entire changing universe. And the universe, we all know that, everything changes. And even though it seems to be all, same, but if you really extend the time frame, then things change. And we all know that. That is all called Shara. Then Akshara. Akshara is that Maya, that is uh, the unmanifest form from which all these changes emerge. And we also saw some examples and all last time. That is Akshara. Then beyond the Kshara and Akshara is Uttama Purusha. That is that pure consciousness, all pervading consciousness. And when Bhagwan here refers as me, then he actually goes to that level. As you know, actually, Bhagwan in Bhagavad Gita, in different places, when he says me, it means different thing. Starting from fruit Krishna to all the way to Ishvara to all the way to Brahman. But here, he makes it very clear the real form or real truth of Bhagwan at the highest level is the pure Brahman himself. So that is the flow. Now, it is inconsistent with the other chapters also, provided we understand it properly. Kshara and Akshara is the Apara Prakriti that is mentioned in the 7th chapter. And Uttama Purusha is the Para Prakriti that is mentioned in the 7th chapter. So, as we study, the different ways of looking at things, Bhagwan will actually, educate us more from the point that, as we reflect more and more, then we'll be able to understand it also clearly. And of course, that's why, we need the Shastra and also a guru competent guru also to go through this and explain so that connect all the dots and we'll also be able to understand clearly and correctly. So the Kshara and Akshara, first he takes it up. And as I said, of course, the example also, which we can map it, wave, ocean, and water. Wave is the Kshara, the various waves arise, they have different forms and so on, and then they live for some time and then they perish. But ocean, which is the causal condition from which all these waves arise, that is actually Maya, comparable to Maya, Abhyakta. And then the water, which is the substratum of all, that is comparable to Purushottama or Brahman. So we'll have to keep this in mind. Now, if you come across some other way of interpreting this, it is possible. There are other commentators who actually give a different angle to this interpretation. But this is the way actually Shankaracharya ji has given in his commentary, and that's why we're following. But this is at the macro level. The all-pervading ocean and the all-pervading water, and then ocean, and then wave, and so on. But if you take it at the micro level, then there is some other way actually we can interpret. We'll also touch upon that just to give you, not to confuse you, but just to give you an input that if you may come across another way of interpretation also of these three slokas. So which we'll have to be aware. But this is actually goes very well with general consensus and of course of Shakracharya ji. So in the 16th sloka, we saw Dvavimau Purushau Loke. Dvavau is two. Imau, these. Purushau. I've given the word by word meaning also. And we have seen that. Two Purushas are there in this world. And one Purusha is called, which is perishable, which is called Shara. And the other one is imperishable. Here he is actually referring as imperishable. So that again should not confuse with, Brahman also is imperishable. And hence actually the Akshara means here Brahman. That confusion may come. Akshara actually, in the 8th chapter is actually referring to Brahman. But here, this imperishable is that ocean. Ocean with respect to wave is imperishable. That is actually the causal source from which the waves come. Like that, the Maya is there from which actually all these variations come. So that is Akshara. So these two is defining. Then in the of course, I have given the Shankaracharya's definition also. Samsara bija anantyat na sharati iti aksharaha uchyate. It's called akshara because it does not perish. Owing to the endless continuities of the seeds of samsara. It keeps on producing maya. That's why it is, it is imperishable. Bhagavan actually referred in the very first sloka itself, the Ashwatha tree, when he referred, Ashwatham, we saw, if you remember, it is also means actually it is changing. But then immediately he also said it is Avyayam. Ashwatham Prahu Avyayam. There also he said Avyayam, imperishable. Because it's continuous. Samsara is continuous. And because Maya, keeps on producing that. So in that context, it is imperishable. That we should understand. So Kara and Akshara, that is in the 16th sloka. Then in the 17th sloka, he says, Uttama Purushastvanyaha. It is Anya, other than these two, is the Uttama Purusha. That is called Paramatma, the highest self. It is said to be that way. Yaha Loketrayam Avishya. This Purusha, Uttama Purusha, which is called Paramatma, is all pervading in all the three lokas. This is the highest self. And that is actually all pervading. And also it sustains, it's the substratum of these all three worlds. Now this Loketrayam, Yaha Loketrayam Avishyaha, again, depending upon the interpretation of this Shara, Akshara and Uttama Purusha, it may vary. For example, if you are talking about individual level, now we talked about, this example from Adi Shankaracharya at the macro level. At the individual level, if we take this Shara, which is perishable, is our body. Akshara, which is actually imperishable, is that Jivatma. The Jivatma goes from one body to another body, and then another body, like that. It is that way, it is Avyayam. It is imperishable. So that is at the individual level. And then at that time, when you talk about the individual level, micro level, then Yaha Loketrayam, the three lokas will refer to the waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. So like that, depending upon how the commentator actually interprets this, accordingly it will map also. Why I'm saying this again, if you're listening to some other, the YouTube and some other talks and so on, these kind of interpretation also is possible. But we go with Shankaracharya Ji's. Shankaracharya Ji very clearly says, yaha lokatrayam, that how he actually, expands is this bhu, bhuvaha, swaha, that this world and the upper world and lower world, akyam swakiyaya chaitanya bala satya avishya. So the supreme being who pervades all the three worlds, bhu, bhuvaha, swaha, all these three worlds are referred that way, through his own power of consciousness. The consciousness that is pervading, that is actually the supreme Purusha. So that Shankaracharya's commentary. So to that extent, we have to maintain that interpretation. Then in the 18th, Bhagavan declares, I transcend these Shara and Akshara. I am higher than that. I transcend the perishable and even higher than the imperishable. And hence I am declared as Purushottama. So the highest in the world and in the Vedas. So yasmat sharamadi tohyam aksharaadapi sottamaha adhosmi loke vede cha pratita purushottamaha. Even in the loka, in the world also, I am known as the Purushottama, and also, of course, from the Vedas also. Vedas actually declare that, Brahman is the ultimate. And that is Paramatma, that is Purushottama. So that declaration is done in the 17, 18, 17, 16, 17, and 18. Now, so we'll of course go through the summary. Now, having come to this level, then in 19th and 20th, he elaborates in terms of the benefit what one will get if we know that Brahman. We know what qualifications are needed, first of all, to know that Brahman. And also, if we know that Brahman, what is the advantage? That's what he is actually going to highlight. Now, again, knowing Brahman is interpreted in Vedanta is abiding in Brahman. It's not that actually we know Paramatma or the Brahman as the object. Some of us studied the Upanishads and all that, so we know what we mean. In terms of that, Brahman is not an object. It is the subject. It is the inner divinity in each one of us. So knowing Purushottama, knowing Brahman, knowing Atma is abiding in our true self. Ramana Maharshi puts it very nicely. The very first sloka of Saddarshanam, Katham smaramas parameyam ekam. How do I remember? How do I know that ekam, that Brahman? How do I know? He asks the question and immediately answers, Tasya smritis tatra dridaiva nishtam. Just by abiding in that is, if we are always abiding in the Sakshi Bhava and carrying out the transactions, then we are actually abiding in the true self. Of course, the duality will be there. For transaction purposes, duality will be there. The world is full of duality only. But abiding in the Sakshi Bhava helps us that we are abiding in our true self and then using this instrument called body, mind, intellect to interact with the world. So that's what actually Bhagavan has highlighted this concept in 6th chapter also. Somewhere in the middle of the 6th chapter, about 30, 29 and all that. So he has highlighted this abiding part of it also. So that's what he says by knowing. So those are the two aspects what we're going to see in the next two slokas. So this background is needed to understand, and it's very easy. But once we have this background, then it's very easy to understand 19th and 20th. Let's see that. So glory of that jnanam, Purushottama jnanam. What is the glory of knowing that? So I will chant again. All of you can chant in mute. 19th sloka. Yo mamevamasammoodah janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Yo mam, yo yaha, yo is that yaha, mam, me. Here again, the word me is referring to that Purushottama, not flute Krishna, not Devagi's son, that Paramatma, that he has already mentioned in the 16, 17, 18. So those who evam, thus, asammudha, the undiluted people only can know him that way, right? The people who are qualified, only they can know him that way. So he's emphasizing the importance of qualification. That's why only asammuda only. Asammuda is very beautiful word. Muda is, we know that muda, is deluded person. Sammuda is very badly deluded. Asammuda is opposite of very badly deluded, who is undeluded. So very nicely that those words are all used here. So Janati, that undiluted person knows me, Purushottama, as Purushottama, and he becomes all-knowing. He becomes all-knowing. We may declare that once actually a Nani, he becomes a Nani. That means actually he knows the Purushottama. He is abiding in Purushottama, which means, it is something like gold knows that gold is there in every ornament, right? Whether it is necklace or whether it is a earring or whatever, that it doesn't matter. But gold knows that it is there all pervading. So it becomes all knowing. And then bhajati mam, he worships me. That is, he always abides in me. Sarva bhaven bharata. He worships me with all, entire focus is in the Sakshi Bhava only. So that actually is declared. So this is word level meaning. So for putting to all together, the unloaded asammodaha, he who thus knows me as Purushottama, he is the knower of all. He worships me wholeheartedly, which means actually he is always abiding in Paramatma. That Sakshi Bhava, he is always abiding for Bharata. So that is the 19th sloka. And of course, I've given some more explanation. Say Purushottama, see, for example, you can do some play of words and try to understand the meaning. The slokas and all, it's the words are all not positioned in the prose order, as we all know. So we'll have to actually figure it out how to have the prose. So for example, I've given this yaha hu asammoda, the undiluted, purushottamam mam evam janati. So if you take these words and put it in that order, the one who knows me in this way will come to know Purushottamam, the Brahma Tattva. Sasarva Vidvagatimam, Sarva Bhavena Bharata. So that person becomes a knower of everything. And he is actually abiding. Sarva Bhavena Bharata. Sarva Bhavena. So he is abiding in all. So bhajati, he worships me sarva bhavena, means it is abiding in that Brahma Tattvam always. So that is the 19th sloka. Okay. So what happens? If a person, the undiluted person, becomes abiding all the time in Paramatma, in Sakshi Bhava, what happens to him? Right? So he becomes, and next sloka, he says, he becomes that jnani who is one with me, and also he is fulfilled. That is the benefit. That's the 20th sloka. And 20th sloka, not only he says that to benefit, that he becomes a jnani, one with me, and also he is fulfilled. Those two he declares. And also he says in the 20th sloka that I taught you the entire Shastram in these 20 slokas. These 20 slokas are Shastram by itself. So that's what we're going to see in 20th sloka. But before that, let's see Gurudev's 2 minutes clip.
Yaha, whoever he be, me, evam das, comes to know me as the absolute reality. Not chara, not chara. Words have no place there. He who realizes me of that type, Purushottamam, that individual is Sarvavit. He knows now everything. He has no more any confusion regarding the world of plurality. Sarvavit, Sarvavit bhajati mam. He is the only one who can seek and serve. How? Sarva bhavet. You and I as an individual entity, when we are serving the Lord, we cannot serve with all our heart. We will always have a little desire. Lord's grace will be with me, and my children and my family will be happier because I am a great devotee. There is only one who has awakened to that great reality, who can serve me, shed his enlightenment into the world outside, the confused people. Sarva bhaven. Sarva bhava in all your vitality and aspects. Sharirika, manasika, bauddhika bhava. He alone can, at the body, mind and intellect level, with no selfishness at all, wanting nothing, desiring nothing, expecting nothing. Pour out this knowledge, whether the other fellow understands it or not. He the only one who serves me at all times. In his physical activities, in his emotional nature, in his intellectual thoughts, he is always serving everybody, serving me in spreading this knowledge in the world outside.
We can easily map that person in Gurudev and Guruji and so on. Okay, so 20th sloka. So I'll finish this, and then if there are any questions, we'll take, and then we'll move to the next topic. इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदम् उक्तं मया नग एतद् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत. Again, another beautiful sloka. All these slokas are so beautiful. So word level meaning, I just will run through that, and then I will also take this sloka just for academic purpose, do some prose order also. And then, of course, we understand the meaning in that process. So that way it'll be a good exercise also. It may take a couple of more minutes extra for this sloka, but you will get an idea of how the sloka has to be analyzed. So, iti guhyatamam shastram. This, iti, thus, this way, so far actually he has taught, right? That way, guhyatamam, this secret, the most secret, in 9th chapter also, Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam, he said. In this, Hari Om. Any question? Otherwise, you can be on mute, please. So, iti guhyatamam is the most secret. Shastram, this is the Shastram by itself. I taught you the most secret, and also which Bhagwan himself declares as a Shastram. This chapter we'll see what actually Shastram also is. You know what Shastram in general means. So we'll elaborate a little bit on that. So I Uktam, I've taught you by Maya, by me. Anaga, he addresses Arjuna as Anaga. Anaga is sinless one, which is actually he is not deluded. He is that asammuda. He is the most qualified student. That's why he calls him as Anaga. Because to impart the sastram, which is the top secret, one has to be actually qualified, right? So that's why he's addressing that way, Anaga. Etad buddhva buddhiman. So one actually who knows this knowledge becomes buddhiman. He becomes jnani. And also kritakritya. He has actually accomplished everything. This is the highest level of accomplishment for human being. Again, in some other place, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Siddhasya Viddhi Sateva Siddhihi. Among any accomplishment, what we can think of, abiding in the true self. If we are able to have that Sakshi Bhava in our transactions, that's the highest accomplishment. That will be actually fulfilling, all fulfilling also. Kritakritya, oh Bharata. So that is the word level meaning. So we'll quickly see the Anvaya of this, that is prose order of this. So, but before that, I know the word Shastram, beautiful word Shastram. For Shastram, we all know it is scripture. So any scripture actually helps us to improve and to realize, right? And to be free from our sorrows. So the word actually Shastram is, Shas is the root, and with the suffix tra. What does Shas and what does tra mean? Shas means to teach, and tra means to save. Shastra, to teach and save. And we do etymology, the expansion of this word Shastram, Shashana Trayate iti Shastram. That which saves the humanity from problems by commandment in the initial stage and by enlightening in the later stage. That is Shastram. So it will tell you what are all the things you should do and you should not do initially. And that way it will prepare you, make you qualified. And then it will teach you the enlightenment so that you'll be free from sorrows. So that is Shastram. So that Shastram, he says, it is Guhyatam, it is secret. Now, secret is here in the sense that it is not that actually, it's something hidden and, you just only very few people know and etc. etc. But here, secret, it means it is only qualified people will be able to know this knowledge. In that context, it is secret, Guhyatamam. It is Rajavidya. So only certain qualified people can understand, and learning it from Shastra through Guru. Only that those people will be able to understand. That's why it is secret. One may actually, when some other commentator was saying that why it is called, I see any YouTube you open, you just say Bhagavad Gita or Vedanta or, self-realization, there are hundreds of videos come out, right? So it's not secret anymore. You can go to any YouTube and then do it. No, 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 no. But it needs a systematic study and the guidance of the competent guru with the help of Shastra, following the Shastra. Otherwise, also the Guru can, there are self-claimed, proclaimed gurus are there who teach their own Vedanta, not adhering to the Shastra. No, no, it should be, that's why through Parampara, it should be taught. That's why, it is Guhyatamam Shastram. So that is the first two words, Guhyatamam Shastram. So if we really put this all in the prose order, just for the academic interest, color coded it so that those who cannot read Devanagari can see the English also. So the prose order, the first sentence will be Anaga. Anaga is the sinless one. It's there in the last word of the first line. Anaga. So when you split, Hey Anaga addresses Arjuna, oh sinless one. We'll see the translation also. Oh sinless one. Idi guhyatamam itam shastram maya muktam. Then that's the first sentence. Then the second sentence is, Hey Bharata, oh Bharata, etad buddhva buddhiman kritakrityacha syat. So if you see the English meaning, Hey Anaga, oh sinless one. Again, it's color coded so that you will be able to relate it to it. Thus, the most secret teaching, Guhyatamam Shastram, secret teaching, has been taught by me. O Bharata, on knowing this, Yetad Buddhva, this Jiva, you are actually now a Jiva. We are all as Jiva, right, as individuals. But Yetad Buddhva, once you know this, O Jiva, you will become Buddhiman, you will become Jnani, you will become Kritakrityaya, you will become fulfilled. That assurance Bhagavan gives. Those are the two lines, and we expanded this. So, but if you just want to see the sloka and the meaning, then, but in order to derive to this meaning, I've given the simplest way actually. And if you look at the commentary and all that, there's a lot of explanation and so on. But this is one of the simplest way actually where we derive it. Just for academic purpose, I'll tell you that. So with that, actually, we're concluding 19th and 20th. Now, before we go to the next topic, any questions so far on this 19th, 20th? All right, good. Now let's go
Shivali,
to
I have
some.
a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Shan.
I have a go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to the Kshara, Akshara, and Uttama Purusha. You said Kshara and Akshara maps to Apara Prakriti and Uttama maps to Para Prakriti, right?
Yes.
But you also said Akshara is imperishable. Isn't Apara Prakriti perishable by definition?
Apara Prakriti, it is something like samsara being imperishable. So samsara seems to be all the time there. It's never ending. It is in that context, the akshara, which is Maya, is also imperishable because it keeps on supplying, it becomes a seed for the samsara. That is the context.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's like it's a chain reaction. It keeps going.
That's why, in the first sloka itself, Bhagavan actually addressed samsara as avyayam, samsara as imperishable, indestructible.
Okay.
So relatively, it keeps going. That's the context.
Okay. I can't remember where we've talked about this, but I think Maya has also been defined as the creative power of Bhagavan, right?
Correct. So that
Okay.
is there. As long as Bhagavan is there, which is Brahman, which is all pervading and eternal, his power will be there. Only thing, it may manifest sometimes, it may not manifest.
Okay.
It's something like, as I said, the musician has got the power to sing or play instrument, but it manifests when he or she gives the concert,
Okay.
or the magician when he does the magic show.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Any other
Acharya
question?
Siva Ji, I have one question. Yeah. So you in these two verses, he explains how you should do everything for him without any expectation in return. So what if someone is doing I don't know the English word for it, but like kainkaryam, what if someone's doing for God, but they do expect something in turn, and that return, that thing that they expect is for God to be happy. Does that still count, or is that outside of what he talked about?
Yeah, that is okay in the initial stages as we advance the Sharanyam. We always start with Artha Bhakti, Arthati Bhakti, and so on.
Hmm.
That's okay. But at least we are in that line, not in the non-believer line.
Okay.
So what Bhagavan says is, is if you want to start, you start there at least, Artha Bhakti and Arthati Bhakti. Then slowly Bhagavan himself will help you to move progress towards Jignasu, for wanting to know about him. That Nishkama Bhakti, like what he said in 9th chapter, he will help you to guide there. So
Okay. So once you progress to Jignasu and eventually to Jnani, you won't even do it because it's a happiness of God. You'll just do it because you just are doing it. Okay.
yeah, and
Oh,
you do it more for, we see, of course, Gurudev also praying and Guruji also praying and so on. But we do it because it is more for the Loka Sangraha, right?
hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
So,
so much.
good, right? Let's go back. We share. Okay, good. Are you able to see the slide now? Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Okay, summary. Will be quick because we already saw this aspect. So it starts with the description of the samsara tree, and that is from verse 1 to 2.5. And then he says you have to cut the tree by the vairagyam. Sanga sastrena dride chitva. Then you develop qualities. The fifth sloka, and it was part of the fourth sloka also. He has highlighted what are all the qualities actually we have to develop. First, of course, in the third sloka, the second half of this third sloka, he said vairagya must be developed. In the fourth sloka, tatapadam tat parimargitavyam. You should start doing the Vedanta vichara, inquiry, by fully surrendering to him. Tameva chadyam purusham prapadye. So surrendering, inquiring, and of course before that developing vairagya. Then all the qualities that is mentioned in the fifth sloka, starting with nirmana moha, chitasanda johar, etc. So that actually gives a qualification. Then what is the goal that is to be attained? That is actually highlighted in verse 6. Natat basayate suryaha, that verse. Then in 7 to 9, he highlighted that Brahman is manifesting in Jiva. This Jiva, all of us, is actually in our true self, it is Brahman only. It is that Atma only. But it is just that, this perishable shell we have. This perishable shell called body, mind, intellect is the rental property. We are just temporarily living there. And of course, we go from this rental property to another rental property, and that keeps on going. And this one will come to know the way the jiva travels by the 10th and 11th sloka. He has highlighted who will actually come to know about this and who will end this journey. That is in the 10th and 11th. Then he has taken and the 12 to 15 to highlight this Jagat is nothing but Brahman only. This is Apara Prakriti. So it is Brahman as a substratum, it is there. That actually he has taken three examples, the sun, moon, and fire. And also he has highlighted that fire is not only outside, but in the inside also, as digestive power. The fire is there. So that he has highlighted in 12 to 15. So then he went into talking about Brahman as the Purushottama, which we saw today, 16, 17, 18. And then what is the benefit of it? Okay. Now that's the structure. It's very nice to remember this. So as we chant, also start memorizing this chapter, which is worth memorizing. If you have this structure in mind, then it becomes easier. Oh, this description of samsara is the first 2.5 slokas. Then detach the second half of the sloka. Then the qualification in fourth, fifth, and what to achieve, sixth. Oh, Brahman as Jiva, 7th to 11th. Brahman as Jagat, 12th to 15th. The Brahman as Brahma, like that. If you have that in mind, then memory also, becomes memorizing also becomes easier. So that is now one more part of the summary of what I want to give is why is it called Shastra? We saw this in the initial one or two lectures, but why is it called? I just given some examples here. Bhagavan says in verse 20, Idi Guhyatam Shastram. He says it is a Shastram. Shastram should include certain topics. First of all, it should include which are the inquiry about Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. And it should inquire about that. And very much there in this chapter, Jiva inquiry. Mame Vamsho Jiva Loke. That's Loka. And Jagat, the very first, Urdhva Moola Mada Shakam, explains about the entire Jagat. Then Ishvara, Sarvasya Chaham Yidishannivishaha, 15th verse. So like that, the Jiva, Jagat, of course, not elaborate. Of course, if you have to elaborate, then you have to go to the other text and all that. But in the condensed form, it is available. Then qualification for a disciple. Dvandvair vimukta. Dvair vimukta sukha dukkha sangai. Like that and all, he explains about the qualification of the disciples in this 5th sloka. What is bondage? Dharmanu bandhini manushya loke, from verse 12, verse 2. Then about moksha. Yadgatva na nivartante, in 6th sloka. Then what is the pramanam? How do we get this knowledge? Vedaisha sarvai. So that is in the 15th sloka. On what are the sadhana to be done for qualification? Nirmana moha jitasanga joha, 5th sloka. Then of course the benefit finally in the last sloka, where etad buddhva buddhiman kritakrityasya bharata. So he becomes jnani and also he is fulfilled. So that benefit also. So that way, if you really see the entire sastram, that is in terms of commanding sha and also pra in terms of benefit. So commanding and also teaching and giving the benefit, that shastra, this chapter comprises. So that is why this structure is so important. So with that, let's start chanting. You know the order, and so you can continue one by one. And finally, the concluding verse, Deepakji will chant. So let's start with Lakshmi from 1, and then please continue without any prompt.
अथ पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः पुरुषोत्तमयोगः श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित्
अधस्तोध्वं प्रसुतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धिनि श्लोके
न रूपमस्य ततोपलभ्यते न अन्तो न चार्दी न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा
ततः पदन्तत् परिमार्गितव्यै यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी।
निर्माणमोहाजितसङ्गदोषः यध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामः बन्धैर्विमुक्ता सुखदुःखसङ्गैः गच्छन्त्यमूढाः परमभयं तत्
न तत्पाश्यते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम। ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनस्तष्टानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति।
Sure. Uncle, can you go back to the previous slide? The Shariram.
I'm sorry.
Shariram yadavapnoti yacchapyutkramatishvaraha gृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धान् इवाशयात्।
स्तोत्रं चक्षुं स्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते।
उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः।
यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्तात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तोऽपि अकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः।
यदादित्यगतं तेजः जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम्।
गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः।
अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्।
सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टः मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यः वेदान्तकृद् वेदविदेव चाहम्।
द्वाविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरस्सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते।
उत्तमपुरुषस्तवन्यः परमात्मेत्य उदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमावेश्य बिभर्त्यव्यय ईश्वरः।
यस्माक्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतिथः पुरुषोत्तमः।
यो मामैवमसम्मूढः जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत
इति गुह्यतं शास्त्रम् इदम् उक्तं मया नघ एतत् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतश्च भारतः
Great.
ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे पुरुषोत्तमयोगो नाम पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः। हरि ओम्।